Okay, I'm standing opposite the building where the Snow Gallery resides in the heart of Marrickville. As you can see, it's above the Mitre 10 on the main shopping strip. I'm about to go up and re-meet Alexander Jackson Wyatt for another interview. So yeah, if you're in Marrickville, check this place out. You go upstairs via a door, and it's called the Sydney Non-Objective Art Gallery. Okay, buenas días, welcome to pedroTV. Today we're back at the Snow Gallery in Marrickville to do part 2 of our meeting Alexander Jackson Wyatt, who has a residency here. He's working here for 1 more month, and so all I have to do is walk around this beautiful yellow sculpture and grab the camera off Alexander. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Should we move into my studio?
Yeah, I'll follow you. Lead away. Okay, I'll begin because when I came yesterday for the opening,
yep,
I didn't expect to see this.
Okay, I'd be interested to see why.
Only because I'm only aware of your work when I've seen the smaller angular pieces,
yep,
such as this kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, is it because you have the space to work on a larger scale that you're interested in, or?
Well, scale is not necessarily something that I take due to as a larger space. It kind of begins with the original intention of the work I wanted to make, and I would obviously always restricted by the size of space I want to use. But
yeah,
for example, this is a small piece compared to some of the previous works I've made.
You've worked, fitting out large areas, installations in large galleries, right?
Yeah,
I was kind of aware of that.
Building false walls and stuff.
Okay, okay.
You know, it's not really something that I try and consider to be the first priority. I don't try and make a large work. I try and work with a particular volume that I have in mind.
Right.
And this just so happens to be this size. But then, as you see, this string work in the ceiling, which I don't know will come up very clear on
we can see it.
on camera.
Oh, yeah. We can see the string. I'll get a close up.
And that is itself a volume which I could make into sort of a three-dimensional work, although it does consider it a three-dimensional aspect.
Right.
This drawing here,
does it relate to the work on the floor?
Yes, almost directly. These two works sitting stacked on top of one another. This is each individual work is the volume of the space underneath my bed in my bedroom. Okay,
yeah, I was gonna say, it reminded me of a bed base, obviously. It's this right size for a double bed and off the floor, and so you're relating it back to your own personal life.
Definitely, and also back to the previous works where those works sat underneath my bed. Like many of my other works that I've made in the past, it ended up underneath my bed or behind my bookshelf. And it's those spaces which are become interested in, the places which are ignored by other places where art exists in its material form. It's a place of storage, and this line here, it in its full length follows the perimeter of the top of my wall underneath the cornice in my bedroom. So.
Okay, and of course you've named your project Dormitories.
Yeah.
And you explained it last time. Just want to have a quick re-explanation.
The dormitories came out of partially me trying to work in my bedroom for a few months, trying to use it as a studio and as a living space at the same time.
Right.
And that name was obviously used for an exhibition which I'm going to be having with a friend of mine, Patricia Viney, where we're going to be making work that has been made in our bedrooms or in response to that particular space.
And
so it's kind of that.
Any emotional kind of.
It's not trying to make a nostalgic comment on the difficulties in making work, but it's trying to confront that as a space where art and life kind of overlaps, and you try and differentiate the two different spaces at the same time, and it's quite tricky. And
some kind of matrix, some kind of mapping kind of experience, or?
You're just trying to locate different areas where this is the place where we make work of this hour.
Yeah.
And that's just happens to be my bed as well. So I lay out my drawings in my bed and make work on there. And so in a way, for me, it became a confused state of producing work and trying to redefine what those things are that exist in my bedroom. And the bedroom itself is an interesting place for kind of just viewing of the self, whereby it's a place where you try and create an image of yourself. So every morning you wake up and you see your own stuff to remind yourself of who you are, remind others of who you are. And then that is a localized spot for the self. So it's an interesting trying to separate the two, because you don't necessarily want your art to be about yourself, per se, but it becomes sort of about the way you position yourself in different places, and that's kind of what this project is about. So it's trying to put that's the very ceiling in which you wake up in underneath every morning into the studio space, and the difficulty and the distortions you would get if you were to actually pull together that very ceiling and put it in here. It's kind of, you get that fracturing, and it's almost impossible to do it, to do it literally.
So the word fracture, can you come around and talk about why you've made this wall piece and then had an off-cut position on the floor like this?
Well, this wall piece is a different work to the other two that are in here, the line drawing and this kind of larger sculpture piece. This is a box, which part of my project at the studio residency has been doing a lot of timber boxes, and I wanted to try and bring back some other elements from my previous works using kind of an anamorphic perspective, which is a distortioning of a shape across a space. And
so if I look at a certain angle, is the offcut meant to present a kind of rectangle or?
That kind of negative space is a shape that I've kind of mapped out from holding a piece of paper at the full length of my arm and pinpointing where that looks as if it were to sort of be a shadow or something across that surface. And that is intended to be seen as you move past through an exhibiting space and catching it almost like an after image of the page. But this work in itself is titled, it's incomplete, it's a work in progress. It's titled a room sheet disposal unit. So it's that kind of A4 page of the room sheet, and it's something that you engage with.
Would you encourage
with the works? I want people to
put their
contributions in there, so it's to kind of contribute or re-engage back with the work, or using that medium or that vehicle of ideas and concepts.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to looking at your room sheet.
Yep.
Weighing up where I can afford the art, because I'll probably like it. But then, if then crumpling it and throwing it away.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what I'll do with these large works after this. I'll try and store them back in my bedroom somehow, and reconfigure them, which is always interesting as well.
One thing that struck me yesterday, and I mentioned it to you, you penciled these well, what are they? They're statements or questions or
questions to myself that are almost hypothetical questions that don't necessarily have an answer. I don't know actually really reread them. They're there for myself to pull together different ideas that are external to the working process, but come up while I'm working, and I think it's just important for them to be present to myself.
Yeah, I was thinking about it last night, and it's the words are kind of legible, but they're not. They have a kind of sense that they are private notes. That I tried to read them, but I don't quite get everything. And was that the kind of the intention? You didn't want to have clear kind of.
They're never really meant to be read by anyone else either.
Yeah, right.
They're just there. They're just there because at that moment in time I needed to write something somewhere.
Okay.
And I didn't really want to write it in my sketchbook because it seems more important to associate closely with the work of making it. And
does it encourage a sense of ownership of the space or personal ownership?
Yeah.
Or sort of handwritten notes.
It helps me kind of settle in. But this only starts happening 2 or 3 months into me working in the space.
Yeah.
So it's more of a result of having worked we do that space for a while. And in my previous studios, I've done the same thing.
Now, the work is leading up to a show in Woolloomooloo.
Yep.
Which gallery?
It's a little artist-run space down on Burke Street. It's hard to say it's an artist-run space. It's a space run by an artist who himself kind of is generously gives it out to National Art School students when they graduate as a result of a prize. So 2 artists will be selected, and they can either be given an opportunity to have solo shows or to do a collaborative show.
Now, the name of the gallery?
It's called Studio W.
Studio W, okay, next month. So, okay, well, perhaps we'll meet again when the work's set up in the gallery for another chat.
We could track it down.
Part 2 will be part 3 of the of this discussion, part 3.
And there could be a part 4 and 5 as well. There's going to be another exhibition, a one-night show in Redfern at Danny Minton's NX Space. It's part of the John From 2020. Which is 20 artists over 20 days. Each with a kind of a 1 day and 1 night to install and deinstall the show.
Wow, sounds exciting.
And there's another show probably here in October.
At Snow, yes. Sydney Non-Objective Gallery, yes. Okay, well, thanks, Alexander. Thanks again, and good luck. See you again sometime.
Yep.
Okay.